It is a top 15 showdown in Tuscaloosa. Number 11, Oklahoma visiting number 4, Alabama. And few teams have stacked ranked wins like these. Alabama, of course, lead the nation with 4, while Miami, Oklahoma, and even Vanderbilt aren't too far behind with 3 apiece. It's just been a gauntlet of tough opponents, but these programs have proven that they can rise to the challenge. And for more, let's bring in Chip Patterson and Adam Breneman to break it all down. Good to see the two of you. And Chip, let's start with you here. John Mateer has been just the definition of a dual threat, nearly 2,000 total yards, 8 passing, 6 rushing touchdowns. How do you see his playmaking impacting Oklahoma's chances against Alabama?
Oh, they're huge. There are 2 ways that Oklahoma can beat you. Number 1 is probably going to start defensively. But here's the thing, Katie. Got to score points to win football games, and that's where John Mateer comes in, because it is his ability to extend the play, be on the same page with some of his receivers down the field to create at least, the danger of the threat. But when they do get the ball into scoring position, Oklahoma is one of the best red zone teams in the country because of what Mateer can do with his legs. You mentioned the dual threat ability. To me, it's third downs, it's red zone, it's those winning plays that he needs to be able to take off. Now, John Mateer also has to limit the turnovers, but if he plays a clean game, makes those plays with his legs when he needs to, he is absolutely a huge factor in the Sooners trying to knock off the Tide in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, Chip, John Mateer's playmaking ability is what gives Oklahoma a real chance in this game. When he's right, when he's healthy, he's one of the most dynamic dual threat quarterbacks in the country. To me, this is a run John Mateer at all costs type of game for Oklahoma. He had 80-plus yards against Tennessee. When his legs are part of the game plan, when he's making plays on the perimeter, this Oklahoma offense looks completely different. It really hides any protection issues they have. It can slow down a pass rush a ton, and it gives this Oklahoma offense a real identity. And when you're on the road, you're playing in a crowd like Alabama's crowd on Saturday. There's no better way to silence the crowd than a few quarterback scrambles, a few quarterback run plays that go for big yardage.
I went to one game in Tuscaloosa. I went to LSU versus Bama a few years ago. It was the most electric crowd experience I think I've ever had in my life. Adam, let's look to the other side here, because Alabama's Ty Simpson has been nearly flawless this season. But that said, Oklahoma's front 7 has the tools to make him uncomfortable. A whole lot of sacks and one of the nation's top tackle for loss rates. How can the Sooners pass rush, disrupt Simpson's rhythm on Saturday?
Yeah, this Oklahoma pass rush has been elite at times this year, and it's been just okay at times. Now this Alabama offensive line is going to be the best that Oklahoma has seen this season, and Oklahoma has some injuries on the defensive line. They got Mason Thomas, who's been banged up. We'll see if he's back. That has not been announced as of yet. But this Oklahoma pass rush against Ty Simpson in the Alabama O-line is the matchup that will decide this game. Oklahoma is one of the top in the country in sacks. And the Brent Venables formula is to win, to force chaos up front. And when they get home, they don't just sack you, they disrupt the pocket, they force hurried throws, they make quarterbacks play faster. It will be a huge factor in this ball game.
Yeah, I wonder if they can bait Ty Simpson into the rare mistake, right? I wonder if, if they can disguise where that pressure's coming from, if they can be able to bring something off the edge or maybe collapse the pocket from the middle. There is going to be a huge pass-the-chalk battle between Brent Venables and that Alabama offensive staff, of course, led by Ryan Grubb. And so I'm wondering... Listen, Adam nailed it. Mason Thomas availability is almost worth, to me, like 2.5 points on the betting spread. He is just such a difference maker. He comes up with that hamstring injury as he was on his way for the touchdown. They've got good young players behind him. They've got some depth. They've got some other players on the defensive line that can have an impact as well. But we're sitting here on a Monday breaking this game down. Keep your eyes on Mason Thomas's availability. It's a big factor in this game.
All right, so he's going to be a big factor in this game. But, Chip, who is an impact player that you think is going to show up for the Sooners if they're going to pull off an upset in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, got to have an impact player, Katie. It's David Stone. I'm going to go elsewhere on the defensive line to another player who's been able to really wreak havoc at times this year. Stone has a big body who's also able to move linemen and wedge in between them. Just great work in the trenches, and I think that he's got to be a big part of this defensive line effort to disrupt Alabama.
Yeah, Chip, I'm going to follow with you on the defensive line as well. How about Taylor Wine, defensive lineman for Oklahoma? He's one of the top defenders in the SEC. He's got 11 tackles for loss this season, and no one has really been able to force Ty Simpson into an ugly game this year. The best way to do it would be a guy like Taylor Wine to get home, get some pressure, and force Simpson off schedule.
All right, Chip, Ty Simpson was very critical of the offense after their win over LSU. By all accounts, it looked pretty good to me. Everything was moving, but do you think they need to improve?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to follow number 15's lead on this. And look, you're right. You're up there, 250, 277 yards. Like, you've got to win. The last couple efforts out, statistically, it's looked okay. But I think that we have just seen this Alabama passing attack. It needs to be a lot of things. Until the ground game really steps in and takes off, it's got to be an extension to the ground game. They've got to be able to make some plays in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 if they're not able to run the ball effectively on first down. They've been moving pieces around. I just think that we know there is a ceiling where Alabama's offense can be scary good. But how often have we seen this Alabama offense look scary good? Again, the pieces, Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, you've got Jam Miller in the backfield, and certainly Ty Simpson, a Heisman Trophy contender at quarterback. On a fantasy football roster, it looks like world beaters, but I just know that there's another step there. Again, listening to Simpson feel like he missed some throws, they missed some opportunities. That LSU game could have been tilted a lot more than the final score, and so, we'll see if they can level up, because Oklahoma's defense is salty and will put them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 scenarios. And this is going to be the kind of game where they need to be able to convert those. Yeah,
you like that from your leader, even in a win when it seems like everything looks good on paper, for him to say, hey, this wasn't good enough for us. We could do better. I agree with you there. Adam, let's talk about the defense for Bama, because they have shown significant improvement, right? We talked about that first game versus FSU, 14 missed tackles in that opener, but they have really tightened up over the last few weeks. So what kind of updates or what kind of strides have they made?
Make no mistake about it. One of the biggest storylines in the SEC this year has been the in-season growth of this Alabama defense under Kane Womack. Early in the year, they were giving up explosive plays. They really struggled with communication on defense, but over the last month especially, it's been a completely different unit. They've been great at getting after the quarterback. They've forced turnovers and interceptions. They haven't given up more than 24 points this season in the games they've won, and really have tightened up in the red zone as well, where you got to get stops and force field goals on the board. I've been really impressed with defensive coordinator Kane Womack and how he's simplified things for his defense. When you got guys like they have on that side of the ball for Alabama, guys that are athletic, can fly around and play fast, you got to keep it simple so that they can make plays and not think too much. And that's what's really jumped out to me. They were trying to do too much schematically earlier in the year. Over the past month, they've really trimmed down the menu, leaned in on those base looks, and now they're going to have a huge test to stop this Oklahoma offense.
Well, that could be applied to so many things in life, right? When you think too much or you try too hard, sometimes you just got to play the game and focus in on what you know, and certainly that has been paying off for them. Let's talk impact players again, who we're going to be watching that could make the difference for the Tide on Saturday. Y'all have the same player here, so Chip, why don't you just take it away?
All right, Jeremy Bernard, so many different ways that you impact the game. Even let's start on the field. He is one of the top wide receivers. Clearly, he is someone who this Alabama offense trusts to be able to make the right play, sit down in the zone right at the sticks when you need the first down, or still with the ability to hit an explosive play. They also involve him in the run game as well. The little end arounds, the jet sweeps, the little fly sweep, little touch pass. He is just someone who I think that with his experience, with his vision, and also with his athletic ability, just such an important player. But one last piece on this, anyone around this Alabama program will tell you that the tone for the way that they work is set by a small group of players, and Jeremy Bernard is at the front of this. He showed up with Kalen DeBoer from Washington, and he's been able to at first be a communicator, maybe a translator of sorts, and now he is just an outright leader on this team. So in a spot when you got to have it against a team that clipped you last year, I'm looking for Jeremy Bernard to step up in a big way.
Looking forward to seeing that. And guys, the time has come for the final predictions. How is this one shaken out? Adam, we'll start with you.
I like Alabama in this game, 28-14. Listen, Oklahoma's playing great football right now. That win against Tennessee showed real growth, but this is a different challenge. Kalen DeBoer has never lost inside Bryant Denny. This version of Alabama is playing their best version of complementary football this season. The defense has found its identity under Kane Womack. They're disciplined, they're physical, they're fast, and I just don't think Oklahoma has the firepower or the protection to hold up for 4 quarters. Ty Simpson's taking care of the football. If he keeps doing that, keeps keeping the ball out of harm's way, he's going to make enough throws. The run game will control the tempo, and Alabama will keep its playoff push alive with another big statement win at home.
I'll go a little bit lower scoring, though I'm with you on the Alabama side. I'm going to go Alabama 24, Oklahoma 9. I'm going to say that Crimson Tide defense steps into this game and just does not allow Oklahoma scoring opportunities, that Bryant-Denny Stadium is absolutely rocking. And like you mentioned, Adam, that we continue to give Kane Womack his flowers for just doing a great job of getting this group to improve all throughout the season. Revenge game complete. I think the Tide roll.
All right. Both of you think the Tide roll, and this one a little different on the total there. But big thanks to Chip Patterson and Adam Breneman. Appreciate you. If you want more from Chip, make sure you check him out on the Cover 3 podcast. The fellas take you from National Signing Day all the way to the national title game. Go ahead and watch now or listen wherever you get your podcast by scanning the QR code on your screen.